are unsettling, maybe, or that are going to seem to rush to judgment. But you have to look at the good of the program, and my personal opinion is the program was going south. What do you guys think? You can message me at the go to Spreaker.com, hit the message button, and send me kind of messages. I want to hear I want to get your thoughts on the Les Miles thing. You can send me text messages to my phone 225-235-5483, and just give me your thoughts. What you think? I like to hear what my fans, what my listeners have to say about this situation. Would you have done the same thing? So before I get to anything else, I want to play this clip of Leonard Fournette.
I hate for everything had to go down the way it went down. I mean, honestly. Very, at the end of the day, we understand, it's a business. But just the relationship we built with him, over our 3 years there, it's amazing. I hate for everything had to go down the way it went down. Honestly.
It was a private meeting, obviously. What can you share about what he told you and the team in this team meeting?
No matter what, he always loved us. He always will. And, not just the whole reason. We shot too. At the end of the day, just the memories we have with him. People gonna say what they say, but to me, he's one hell of a coach. And every coach have their own way of coaching. And it's just it's the shot.
I know he doesn't want you guys to feel guilty, but is there some guilt when the coach gets fired?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's our coach. If any player anywhere doesn't feel the way about their coach getting fired, they never truly believed in him, or they never was for him.
Leonard, were you able to talk to Cam at all today?
No. I'm just coming from the doctor, to be honest. So everything was kind of new to me.
Speaking of doctor's house, your health.
Yeah, I'm fine.
What is your overall reaction to all this?
It's just shocking, you know what I mean? And at the same time, we understand it's a business, but we developed such a great relationship with these coaches, that if you don't have a father, you don't have a mother, you can always come here and talk to one of them. So it's just, it's hard for some people at these times right now.
Jamal Adams said that maybe Joe Levis said you guys needed a new energy, a new spark. What can Ed Orgeron provide in that regard as an interim head coach?
Since I was in high school, man, Coach O have always been a great coach, and I believe he has the will and the power to do it.
How do you feel about Coach Ensminger being the offensive coordinator?
They're still our coach, so that's not going to change at all.
Leonard, you have 8 games left. It's a lot of football. What do you want to accomplish in these 8 games?
Just went out, to show everybody, despite everything going on, we still us at the end of the day, and just maintain.
You've always said these are your brothers. You're in it for 100%. Even though that some of your championship dreams are gone, your heart is still with LSU and not looking forward.
Most definitely. Just the memories I have with these guys, each and every day, just day by day. This season goes by so fast, and I can look back and remember being a freshman and meeting some of these guys. Man, it's amazing, and to know that they have bright futures too. It's a blessing just to be a part of this LSU team and to create a brothership with these groups.
And there is the, in my opinion, best player in college football talking about the coaching moves and what's expected, and what I sensed in that interview was he's disappointed the way things turned out. It is a guy that brought him here. It is a guy that gave him an education. It's a guy who gave him a chance to better himself. But Leonard Fournette also had the mindset I saw of that at the end of the day, some things have to get done. As unpleasant as they may be, Leonard Fournette's a sharp guy. He knows the business. And I think some stupid questions or, ask him what he thought about Steve Ensminger, or did he say anything at Cam Cameron? It doesn't matter. It's like you said, hey, look, those are our coaches. And he really dismissed Cam Cameron like he was glad that he left. Not saying that he was, but from what I got is, yeah, that was your problem. And had Les Miles dismissed Cameron, he'd still be here. Had he gotten rid of Cam Cameron from last year, I really believe Les Miles would still be the coach. And look, and that's his responsibility. He hires these coaches. So if the coaches aren't doing their job, he's the one to blame. He brings them in. LSU just has not had, since Jimbo Fisher was here, they haven't had a consistent, in my opinion, consistent offense year after year. Yeah, you had some good offense sprinkled in here and there. They had a good one back in 2013 with Mettenberger, I believe the year was. Next thing I want to play for you is what ESPN correspondent Paul Feinbaum had to say about the situation.
Won nearly 80% of his games, yet it simply wasn't good enough for these two. President F. King Alexander, who you said were really on top of this march last year, when LSU lost 3 games in a row for the first time since 1999. He was able to salvage his job. But, Paul, it strikes me that these are the same guys that made the decision today to let him go. Can you take us inside the relationship between a man who brought them a national title, won nearly 80% of his games, yet it simply wasn't good enough for these two men?
I think the relationship has been strained for some time, and Zubin, it's not a shock, and it isn't breaking news that Les Miles is a quirky character, and I've seen this before, and you've seen it, and I think after the come together last year when they stood in front of the cameras and acted like things were okay even though they weren't, the tension in my mind grew. What was so striking about all this is that Les Miles had one of the top recruiting classes in America last year in February. It was in the top 5. It was outstanding. And then the summer of tragedy in Baton Rouge with the police assassination and the young man being shot by police officers, and finally the flood, where Les Miles in many ways was the voice of reason. He was someone people looked up to, but in reality, football matters more when it comes to LSU fans and LSU, apparently the administration. And I mean, this to me seems a little quick, even though after last night it didn't seem likely. We don't know exactly what went down here. Maybe he was pressured into to get rid of Cam Cameron, and he may have said, I'm going to be fired anyway. I'm not really sure yet. It's very early in the story, but it was going to happen. The moment that game ended last night and Auburn began celebrating the victory as opposed to LSU, it was inevitable. He was going to be gone.
So that's that's what Paul Feinbaum had to say about the situation, and I agreed with what he says. I mean, was it a rush? Yeah. But it's not like this is some surprise or that he's all of a sudden came up. We'll know better in the coming future what actually was said. Now, I did see Miles was on the Dan Patrick show, and that he had mentioned that in the meeting, basically it was said that they're making a change. Things have not changed. And we're going to move on. Les Miles then said that they allowed him to go speak to the team, which he said he appreciated. He spoke to the team, told them that he loved them, that he wished them the best, that he was always going to be an LSU Tiger, that he was going to always root them on and enjoy it. And he said he's not any good at golf, he's not any good at tennis, so he's probably going to, is a typical Les Miles quote. He said coach is in his blood, so it does look like that coaching is going to be in his future. There's no doubt about that. But I think one thing, when I look at Les Miles, I think there's a few things that we look at when we see him. When I look at Miles, again, I look at a guy that won a bunch of games and got comfortable. But I mean, you know, just going back on some recent history with it, this isn't really recent, but with these strange clock managements, okay? All right, yes. This devastating loss to Auburn was the most recent. But guys, do y'all remember the Tennessee game in 2010 where the game was over? They didn't get the ball off again. It goes over Jordan Jefferson's head. But because Tennessee had 800,000 people on the field, there's like 14 total, I think. Game can't end on a defensive penalty. Next play, toss to Ridley. Ridley powers in the end zone. LSU wins. Fortunately for Miles, at that point, it went in his direction. He got the fortune of that call. Another incident where I remember this is really a bad loss was when they had gotten inside the Ole Miss 5-yard line. They failed to get one final play again. They didn't know what to do. They were running around like Keystone Cops again in that Ole Miss game. Didn't even get a play off. And another one that went in his favor was the 2007 national championship winning season, the Auburn game. Matt Flynn hits Demetrius Byrd with a game-winning touchdown with 1 second left. He let that clock wind down all the way to like 8 seconds before he hikes it. Where you could have just managed the clock better. Kicked the field goal and won, but inside you decide to go gamble it away and throw it down. Fortunately for him, it worked. Had it not worked there, you already know what the calls would have been. At one, LSU would have never won the national championship. And where would Les Miles have been had that not gone his way? And he's fortunate that it went his way. The guy had a rabbit's foot a lot of times. I mean, when I look back on it, I see the time when he ran the fake field goal to Florida and the ball literally bounced on the ground and bounced like a basketball up into the, I believe it was Colt David's hands, and he ran for a first down. LSU ended up winning that game on a pass to Terrence Tolliver in the left corner. You saw those things he was getting away with. And then, look, I could sit here and go through all kinds of different games that he got away with. But, you know, one thing that I noticed was that's really a stamp on his career here at LSU was his gutsy calls. The 2001 Auburn touchdown pass was one. In that same year, the 5 fourth downs he went for against Florida. Remember the reverse to tight end D'Angelo Peterson in 2010? With just endless trick plays that he'd run. I mean, I remember in 2007 he also ran a great trick play. I was at the game, South Carolina. Matt Flynn flicks it over his head. I believe it was Colt David then, ran it in the end zone. Touchdown. He ran a fake field goal last year. But it seemed the trick plays and the gutsy calls decreased to me. And maybe they did, and maybe it was just something, it just seemed like that it did. I mean, I think Miles' crazy press conferences. Remember the have a great day. Have a great day. when he was supposedly going to leave.